Hey everyone, welcome back to another review. Even though I saw Thor Love and Thunder 2 days ago, I decided to take some time to think about the film before doing my review, and unfortunately, that time did not improve my opinion on the movie. If you loved it, then great. I'm really happy that you did, and I'm actually jealous because I want to like the film, but I just can't. This will be a spoiler-free review, so now let's talk about Thor Love and Thunder. This film was a mess. For me, this is one of the weakest MCU movies. The majority of jokes didn't land, and when I left the cinema, I couldn't help feeling that 75% of the jokes should have been replaced with actual character and story development. Instead of trying to distract me with jokes, why not actually develop the characters or the plot? There were some serious moments in the film, or at least moments that should have been taken seriously, but instead they were turned into some humorous moments. When that happened the first time and then the second time, I knew it was going to happen again and again. So when the stakes were at their highest, I didn't feel anything for those moments, and it made me lose interest in the characters and story. Literally anything could have happened to the characters, and I couldn't have cared less, because I knew that the film was going to twist it into some sort of comedic scene. It also meant that when there was an actual serious scene, I wasn't absorbed in the moment. I wasn't feeling any emotion other than impatience, as I was actually waiting for the jokes to happen. But this doesn't mean I don't like humour in movies, because I do, but I think it has to be clever, well-timed humour, where it fits the story but doesn't overshine the actual plot or scene. Take Avengers Infinity War, for example. That film does have humour in it, quite a bit actually, but it knows when to stop. It knows when to take moments seriously, and it conveys it clearly to the audience when they should take the scene seriously too. Thor Love and Thunder doesn't do that. It just tells joke after joke without any concern over what is actually happening in the scene. There is no urgency. Even before watching the movie, you know that there will be some high stakes towards the end of the movie that the villain has caused. There always is. And in this movie, there is no urgency from the heroes to try and stop whatever the villain is trying to do. They may say it at some point, but they don't actually act on it until they've got the jokes out the way. It pulls you out of the intensity of the villain's plan and makes you actually feel relaxed about the rest of the movie, because you know that if the heroes aren't worried, then why should you be? I really do not like what they have done to Thor. I think I'm in the minority when I say that I liked the Thor from the early MCU. I thought Thor 1 was a great start, and yes, Thor the Dark World was quite boring, but at least Thor was taken seriously. He was seen as an Avenger and a Norse god. I thought Ragnarok was an interesting take and quite an entertaining one, at least on the first viewing, but at least there were scenes where he was serious or had some urgency with what Hela was doing on Asgard. Thor Love and Thunder was Ragnarok on steroids, 100% more comedy, 50% less plot. I thought Infinity War was the best version of Thor. He had funny moments, but clearly was struggling with the loss of his brother. He was powerful, and he fueled his anger into hunting down Thanos. He got Stormbreaker, and I thought his armor looked the best it ever had. In Love and Thunder, Thor looked very cheap and over the top. The blue and gold armor looked very out of place and did not work. I thought Christian Bale was very good as Gore the God Butcher, easily the strongest part of the movie, but his story felt so out of place with the rest of the film. Honestly, he was too good for Thor Love and Thunder. His acting and character arc was way too good to be in this comedy. It felt like the script was written by a kid and then Marvel funded it, but added an interesting villain, hoping that that would be enough to make the film feel like it meant something. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I wanted to see more of Gore and far less of the heroes, which should never happen when the heroes you were talking about is Thor and Mighty Thor. Speaking of Mighty Thor, I could see that there was a good storyline in there, but it was overshadowed by the oversaturation of jokes. I also thought there was going to be more of her story developed or revealed. Instead, she was just there to serve the plot instead of being her own character. At least, that's what it felt like to me. The film actually reminds me a lot of Transformers: The Last Knight. In The Last Knight, you could see glimpses of a really good story, but unfortunately, that was mainly overshadowed by the director's changes, who insisted on adding way too many jokes, which made it quite difficult to follow along with. The story underneath seems like quite an interesting one, but it was completely overshadowed by the director's need of jokes. To round up what I thought of Thor Love and Thunder, I think they planned out all the jokes first and then squeezed a story in between them, not really worrying if it felt messy. I would have to give this movie a 4 out of 10, which is a shame because I love the cast and I love the director and I love the characters, but this film just did not work for me. Make sure to let me know what you thought of Thor Love and Thunder in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon. So until then, have a great day. Bye.